May the beauty in me recognize the beauty in you. Hi, I'm Christian Nielsen, and I'm so glad you've joined me this week. In this week's episode of The Path of Beauty, which is the new title for what was called just the Sunday Reflection, we reflect on ways that we sometimes don't see each other. And maybe in ways that we can find the path towards seeing the beauty in each other. The story actually comes from the Gospel of Luke, and it talks about two disciples who are walking down the road. This would be the same afternoon where earlier in the morning the women had found that the body was gone and was told that Jesus had been resurrected. And of course, they didn't believe the women at first. So these two disciples are walking along, and a stranger finds them and starts walking along with them and starts asking them questions about, hey, what's been going on? And, they're like, you haven't heard about all the bad things that happened and that we had this person who was supposed to save us, and instead he was crucified. And Jesus asks them kind of if they have faith in the prophecies that say that Jesus will return. And then the disciples decide to show hospitality to the stranger, and they let him in. And as they're eating, as he breaks the bread, they recognize who this is. So this week I have a bit of a reflection on that story. And I think it's a story that transcends religion, because I believe that, in Buddhism, the challenge is the way the Buddha in me see the Buddha in you. May the beauty in me see the beauty of you, which is something that is seen in Diné or Navajo culture. So here's a reflection on the road to Emmaus. Walking this road, we can't see the end, let alone the next turn, the next stranger we will meet. Walking the road in grief and sorrow with our own scars, it's so hard to see the scars on the other. Disciples who couldn't believe their past few days, walking and walking, wounded, distraught in their grief and their lost hope and their lost dreams. Too distraught to remember the promises of a faithful Creator. That pain and oppression, that suffering and cruelty, that injustice and inequity, that our personal wounds and trials, that in all of the myriad ways we miss the mark through our own actions and inactions, none of these things gets the final word. The promise that the worst thing won't be the last thing. But like the disciples, we are too often the fools, as they're called in Scripture, who won't open our eyes to see what we can't see, to see the living Christ walking with us and among us, to see the living Christ in others, to see the living Christ in ourselves, to see that death is very real, and I would even argue important, but it won't have the last word, as hard as it may be to trust that. May we challenge ourselves to see beyond, to seek to see what we can't see in the world and in each other, to challenge our own worldviews, to challenge our own deep-seated beliefs and biases, to let go of our certainty about what we think we can see. May we hear the voices from prophets calling through the ages, to not treat the wounds of others carelessly, crying, "Peace, peace," when there is no peace. To turn down our songs of praise and turn our beliefs into action. To love our Creator with all of our hearts, and to love each other in the very same way. When the psalmists ask, "How long, Lord, how long?" may we hear the voices of modern-day prophets when they sing, "How many times can a man turn his head, pretending he just doesn't see?" Or, "How many ears must one man have before he can hear people cry?" How many times do we stand by and watch the world act against the words of the prophets and not see them written on the subway walls and tenement halls, to see them in each other? How many times do we forget the words of the prophets, including the words of Jesus? How many times do we forget to listen to those of other belief systems who remind us that we are all connected? May we open our ears and our souls to remember. May we have the curiosity of Jesus when he asks others to tell their story, a story he already knows the details of. May we have that patience. May we make space for others. May we show the hospitality of the heartbroken disciples to invite a stranger in. May we seek and find beauty in our journeys together and in each other. May we seek healing together. May we walk in love. Walk in peace. Walk in beauty. What fools we are when we don't believe that resurrection is possible. Resurrection from all the slings and arrows that harm us, all of the deaths we encounter in our own lives. Resurrection of a deeply troubled world full of war and famine and greed, racism, and unnecessary deaths and destruction. We're fools because we're human. Grief and trauma can paralyze us, cause us to retreat inward, cause us to build walls of self-protection. They can cause our hearts to swell and break beyond our own capacity to heal. And it can be hard for our very human emotions to catch up with our hearts and our heads. Jesus knows this about us. Jesus brings grace to our human limitations, offers healing that is beyond karma, opens the doors to our hearts in time. When we trust and when our trust wavers, that's how resurrections work. We move beyond our scars, beyond our unbelief in the beauty of the world. We move beyond our fear of the other to see the beauty in our fellow beloveds as they were made in Creator's image and relatives to all, never others. Christians, Muslims, Buddhists, Jews, Indigenous, Hindu, Sikh, Humanist, and so many others, including those who may not believe in a deity. We are all relatives. All our relatives. LGBTQ, brown, black, red, white, woman, man, non-binary. All our relatives. And we should see Jesus. We should see the divine in every single one. When we trust resurrection, we move beyond our despair to become the hands and feet of God. We move to heal our hearts and the heart of the world. We love our neighbors by standing between them and the harm. We love women by believing them when they deliver good news and when they deliver hard truth. We love the creation with all of our souls. Resurrection is working in us when we open our hearts and our minds and our doors to the poor, the stranger, the sick, and dying. No matter what they look like, who they love, how they identify, or where they come from. When we are on the road, we never know when Jesus will be walking beside us, both to comfort us and to challenge our compassion for the other, who may have scars that aren't as obvious as their hands and feet and side, who may have been crucified for who they are. Each and every person you meet is of noble creation, to quote Buddhism. Every one of them divine in God's image. Every one of them, Jesus, waiting for us to open our hearts and homes and hospitality and love, that we may see them when we break bread together. May we open our hearts to be filled with love. May we open our eyes that we will see, truly see, and truly hear, and truly love all people as beloved children of God, that we may see ourselves as beloved relatives, even when we don't feel it. May we love extravagantly. May we love beyond what we can and can't see. May we be the kind of fools that believe resurrection and rebirth is possible. Not a resurrection that happened 2,000 years ago, but a resurrection that is happening right here, right now. May we be the kind of fools that won't lose faith in hope, even when everything seems lost. The kind of fools who can see that love and connection are divine, even when we can't see it or feel it. May we have faith to see this journey through with the other, no matter what the next curve brings. May we find true peace along the way. May it be so. Peace be with you. Walk in beauty.